Ciao. I'm not a lawyer, but Broward County Sheriff's Office has finally responded to Melly's writ of habeas corpus, and it's a little bit spicy. They basically gave a laundry list of reasons why they say Melly is just fine where he's at. Before they get into all the things that they say Melly has done since he's been locked up, the Sheriff's Office says that Melly's writ should be dismissed for a number of technical reasons. For example, before filing a habeas petition in a federal court, the petitioner, so in this case Melly, is supposed to do everything they can on the state level first. And then if that doesn't work, then you go up the chain to the federal court. If you watch YSL, some of this may be familiar. Now, in Melly's filing, he and his team do say that they have tried everything that they can do on the state level, but they've been unsuccessful. But BSO says that's a lie. Specifically, BSO says, respectfully, these assertions are misleading, to put it mildly. It is quite evident from publicly available records that the petitioner has failed to exhaust his state court remedies regarding the allegations in this petition. And then another reason that BSO says that this should be dismissed is because of a rule known as the Younger Abstention Doctrine. It comes from a 1971 case, but basically this rule says that federal courts can't interfere in an ongoing state case, even if there are claims about a person's constitutional rights. Which of course Melly is alleging his rights are being violated due to the inhumane conditions he says he's being held in. So to this point, BSO's argument is if a judge has already ordered that Melly be held without bond, filing this habeas corpus is essentially his way of trying to go around that and get a federal court to step in and allow him to be released. So BSO is saying, federal court, you can't do that. You can't step into this ongoing state case and allow Melly to get out when a judge has already ruled that he gets no bond. Now let's get into all the things BSO says that Melly has done since being locked up. Starting off saying that within the first 30 days of Melly being locked up, BSO discovered Melly was violating jail facility rules and regulations, including tampering with the witness, conspiracy to commit tampering, solicitation to commit tampering, and planning or directing criminal gang activities, all of which happened while he was in jail, and he was using his phone and video privileges to conduct these crimes. This response goes on to say that as of today, Melly is housed in an entire housing pod by himself, and while he does not have phone and video privileges, he does have all of the amenities that other inmates have. His current living conditions are far from cruel and unusual punishment, and they include exhibits where they say Melly himself told people how much he likes this housing situation. In one card, Melly says, quote, "This place is like a mini mansion," and that it is way better than his previous housing situation. He said it had better food, and he says, quote, "I got a whole unit to myself with a basketball court, TV all day." So BSO says it's enigmatic or hard to understand that Melly now seems to be saying that these conditions are so bad when he's already told everybody, including somebody named Slime, how much he liked it. The office says that Melly is still able to meet with his attorneys and has done so over 200 times since being in custody. And they provide the visitation logs to back up what they're saying. They do note that because of the serious security concerns that Melly has brought about himself, he is just simply not allowed to have phone and video privileges. Now let's get into the CVS long list of things they say Melly has done. March 13th, 2019, BSO says Melly had a three-way call with his co-defendant, Henry Cortland, which they know is prohibited because they are co-defendants on the same case, and that causes a safety and security concern. On June 24th, 2019, BSO says Melly got in trouble for telling a deputy, quote, "She needs to go home with her stank part, and we know it stank because you be at work all day." On July 19th, 2019, BSO says when a deputy attempted to escort Melly back to his cell, he said, quote, "Don't touch me, you don't know who I am. I'll have my people take care of you in the street." On September 12, 2019, BSO says that Melly used his towel to clog the toilet until the entire housing pod was flooded with water. And when the deputy entered his unit to turn off the water, Melly stated, quote, "Yes, I flooded. Now go get your sergeant. I'll beat you all's behinds. I have real lawyers to get me out of here." Ciao. On November 26, 2019, Melly was allegedly not listening to orders, and he stated, quote, "Y'all gonna stop effing with my visits. Ask about me. I'll flood this place." Now, I don't know if all of this is true, but if it is, he in there being a menace. They go on to list a bunch of incidents in which Melly got in trouble for passing notes to other inmates under his door. On another occasion, he was placed on 2-hour room restriction for going into another inmate's cell and telling a deputy that she is I'm not going to read what he called her. Y'all can read that part. And then a month after that, he was involved in a fight. Skipping to May 4th, 2021, BSO says that Melly's attorney, Raven Liberty, was caught letting non-attorneys use her login credentials so that they could have non-recorded video visitations with Melly. And as a result of that, they permanently banned Raven Liberty from all video visitations. Child, not the lawyer. On April 7, 2022, due to Melly's constant abusing of the phone system, BSO says an order was given that anytime Melly is out of his cell, all phones in the housing unit have to be turned off and only attorney calls with a sergeant on post viewing him are allowed. According to BSO, on April 11, 2022, a confidential tip came in saying that Melly and another inmate were planning to escape, and Melly's attorney, Raven Liberty, was planning to help the escape by bringing in 2 handcuff keys. The tip also said that the other inmate was selling some stuff, and so BSO did a search of that inmate and Melly's cell and only found a pen and some excessive amounts of commissary in his cell. In August of 2022, Melly got in trouble for using another inmate's PIN number to make calls and admitted in a disciplinary hearing that he was using that inmate's PIN and the inmate didn't even know. In September of 2022, even though Melly was not allowed to be using phones at that time, BSO says he somehow managed to get another inmate to call his girlfriend. And during that call, the girlfriend is recorded saying, quote, "Did he see my pictures? I sent her my pictures like days ago." And then the inmate who's having this call for Melly repeats, "Did you send him your pictures?" The girlfriend says, "His lawyer." And then the inmate says, "No, he did not get them." The girlfriend says, "No, tell him if she don't get them to him by next week, I'ma beat her behind." So it sounds like the inmate's on the phone and maybe Melly's in earshot so he can relay what the girlfriend is saying on the phone to Melly. That's what it sounds like. BSO says that this her that Melly's girlfriend is referring to is obviously attorney Raven Liberty because she's the only female attorney on his case. And they emphasize that attorneys are prohibited from bringing personal items into the jail and passing them to an inmate, and doing so is a criminal violation of Florida law and jail rules. On September 16, 2022, Melly was given permission to call his lawyer, but instead of calling his lawyer, he used another inmate's PIN number to call his girlfriend, and is recorded on that call saying, quote, "Hey, I'm supposed to be talking to my lawyer. Whenever they call you, be like, is this Miss Liberty? Is this person?" Just be like, yup. Girlfriend responds when who calls, and Melly says, "When I call." They're going to be like, "Is this the lawyer for Jamel?" Just say yes. And then the girlfriend says, "When are they going to do that?" And Melly says, "One of these days, just be prepared." In November of 2022, BSO says Melly sent a letter addressed to the law firm of Aaron Barnett, and just so we're clear, Aaron Barnett is the name of his girlfriend. BSO notes that the address that this letter was addressed to was actually a home address and not a law office address. On December 1st, 2022, BSO says Melly was caught with inappropriate photos of a female. And then in February of 2023, BSO says Melly and another inmate engaged in a scheme to try and communicate with each other. To do so, the inmate sent a letter out, but made it look like the letter came from Melly and not him. So he sends the letter out and addresses it to a place that doesn't exist. So when the mail tries to deliver this to this non-existent place, it gets returned to sender. But because the inmate has made it look like the sender is actually Melly, when the letter gets returned back to the jail, it's supposed to go to Melly. But in this instance, they got caught. BSO says there's even more three-way calls, more using other inmates' PIN numbers, more speaking with his co-defendant. In March of 2024, a BSO deputy and detention technician assigned to Melly's unit were relieved of duty and suspended after it was discovered that they were providing Melly contraband, including lewd photos of unknown females. Now the guard's acting up. And even with all of that, BSO says Melly is still treated like a general population inmate. He is allowed out of his cell during 2 shifts just like everyone else. He has free reign to use the television and shower when he's out. He gets recreation at the same schedule as everyone else, and he's allowed to send and receive mail like everyone else. He can meet with his attorneys, with the exception of Raven Liberty, just like everybody else. BSO says due to the numerous incidents that Melly has had, which they say go even beyond the list they provided, his current conditions of confinement are reasonable, and for that reason, this petition should be dismissed or denied. A hearing has been set for January 17th for the 2 sides to come and discuss. This is going to be a mess.